Well, I guess you can figure what I'm going to be talking about today then. The court case in Leicester. And I'm going to be putting a few fibs to rest. Firstly, let's take it back to the 24th of July, when 6 of us got on a roof. That's all we did, got on a roof. And we were highlighting the fact that nobody had seen a warrant yet. We got on the roof and we said right from the word go, show us the warrant, we'll come down. Right from the word go, we want to see the warrant. Couldn't do it. We was talking to one of the cops. He seemed quite confident, says, yeah, they're going to email it me, I'll have it any moment now. And as 10 minutes grew to 20 and 30 and an hour, and you could see his face drain as the realisation dawned on his face that the warrant doesn't exist. So we eventually, we're in the loft and we barricaded ourselves in, and the police decide they're going to storm the place. Now, by storm the place, they've got big steel rods that they are ramming through the roof, the floor that we're on, the roof that they're underneath, and it's coming 2 feet up off the floor, the rods are. If anyone had been sitting there or lying there, they'd be dead instantly. They then tried to get in, they couldn't get in. So, however, 3 of them by this time were very frightened because they could be dead, just been dead. 3 decide to go down. Me, Betty and Henry decide, well, if they're going to do that, who knows what they're going to do to us down there. So we go up on the roof on the ridge tiles. While we're on the ridge tiles, the other 3 have been taken down now and they're coming up, and the guy that works for TSG that's been ramming a steel rod through the roof pokes his head up with his helmet and visor and shoulder pads and body armour and arm pads and gloves and thigh pads and knee pads and shin pads and boots, and there's us in trainers, jeans and a jacket. He pops his head and says, you can come down now, and we reply, yeah, because you're well trustworthy. Anyway, he lowers down and the negotiator pops his head up. While the negotiator's talking to us, we're on the edge of the roof, a 30 to 40 foot drop. We're on the ridge tiles, at the edge of the roof. One of the TSG with a steel rod goes underneath what the tiles we're stood on and starts whacking the tiles that we're sat on a good 6 inches. We're lifting 6 inches. We start screaming. The negotiator says, there's nothing going on down here. But here's the thing. Because we were right at the end of the roof, in the loft, there's a 2 metre gap towards the end of this stud wall with a metre up and a metre square. So the TSG had to get through that with his steel rod and ram there to try and murder us, knock us off the roof, because if we'd have fell off there, we'd have been dead. So 2 attempted murders by Nottinghamshire Police. We hang on for a further day before we eventually come down, and you'll see the videos because I'm going to be putting them out, the police videos of us coming down perfectly nice and politely. We get taken to the cells. We spend 48 hours in the cells, some spent longer. Not supposed to, but they do because they think they get away with it. Then we're taken to court. Now fortunately, a lot of our friends and supporters are already in the courts. In the court in front of Judge Divas. Now, just so you know, a judge's job is to basically be like a referee. Sits there impartially and then puts things right, you know, the points of law, that type of thing. Not allowed to interfere in any way, shape or form. What did Judge Divas do? He ordered the prosecution to up the charges. Ordered them to up the charges. I don't think he was acting impartially, and I'm sure he's broken some rules, if not some law. So, we are now facing charges of conspiracy to commit criminal damage and conspiracy to commit aggravated trespass. Now, you shouldn't be surprised that these charges fell away, because the CPS didn't want to charge us with that. They were ordered to charge us with that by Judge Divas. Right, something else I'd like to point out to you. When we were on the roof, the police did no health and safety checks. Even though they've got all the body armour and gear, no health and safety checks before they started ramming those rods through the roof, and one of them actually caught Henry on the leg. So another breach of health and safety laws there. Now, the police have attempted to murder us And let's be very clear on why they've attempted to murder us. Because we climbed onto a roof and broke a window. Yes, attempted murder for climbing onto a roof and breaking a window. Bearing in mind, we ask for the warrant all the time. Now, obviously this goes on 6 months and we eventually end up in Leicester Crown Court. Me and Craig are there the first day. Everyone's there, but it's me and Craig the first, because we put in a case of no case to answer, because we knew that we hadn't done anything wrong. And we held and honestly held belief we hadn't done anything wrong. The case starts. I'm missing bits out here, but I'm trying to screw it on as quick as I can. The case starts, and within the first hour or so, the prosecution, who believe they can bring a guilty verdict, offer a deal. The very first day, the prosecution offers a deal. We're going to drop the more serious charge, and if you just plead guilty on the lower charge, and you can walk. So the prosecution wanted us to lie to walk away. Wow, couldn't make it up, could you?
How do you switch that off?
The very first, coming towards the midpoint, halfway through, maybe a little bit further, the judge actually suggests to the CPS maybe they should reconsider the charges. The case continues, and a few days into it, the judge in front of the jury asks a question to which if you answer yes to, you're guilty. If you don't answer, you look guilty. When he asked this question, everyone in the public gallery gasped, because again, the judge is supposed to be impartial. Right, we get to the witnesses now. But let's not forget, we've just been through a 7-day trial. 7 days of the prosecution putting their witnesses on the stand, and we ripping them to pieces and proving they lied. The only one we had no questions for was the female one, Adele, who have got a bit of a thing for Craig. Sorry, Craig. But she said everything. We was all perfectly nice, peaceful, and no violence or no aggression whatsoever. So we didn't need to ask her any questions. Judge orders, again, right from day one, we say we want to see the warrant. The judge orders the warrant to be produced. All they could eventually produce was a certified copy of the warrant. However, no one would sign, not a single judge in Nottingham would sign to say this is a legitimate warrant. In the end, they got the court manager to sign it. He's now in deep shit and is probably going to lose his job, and rightly so. We carry on further with their through more of their witnesses. Four of us that weren't represented by barristers asked our own questions, and we proved every single witness to be a liar. Oh, sorry, you can't say that.
Were they arrested for perjury then?
Of course not. They were mistaken. However, one of them, even when he was shown the evidence that he was wrong, still insisted he was right. So eventually a certified version of some warrant turns up. We look at it, it's not signed, it's not legitimate. The judge says, but you'll accept that now, won't you? No, we want to see the original.
Didn't Tom receive the original warrant?
No,
or was that just a fake?
No one has received it or seen the original warrant.
But Tom said him and Sue received the warrant, but it was a fake, wasn't it? It wasn't stamped or signed.
It was a warrant from 2012. Warrants last for 1 day less than a year. They have to then be reissued. If they're not reissued, it's gone. It's dusted.
It was a fake in the first place anyway.
Yeah, there was no signature on that. But both the judge and the prosecutor said, on May of last year, Judge Godsmark issued another warrant. Another absolute lie by the judge and the prosecutor. All he did was lift the stay on the warrant. Now you might think, well, that's it then. It's sorted. Even if the warrant from 2012 was legit, which it wasn't, it was also out of time. It hadn't been reissued it can no longer be relied on. They had to issue a new warrant. They didn't.
So Tom was still evicted.
Yes, yeah. Right.
What happened next?
As we get towards the end of the case, literally Monday, the day before the case collapses, we ripped the final couple of witnesses to pieces, proving them to be mistaken. The prosecution have one witness left, PC and Aram, I think it was. He's just an evidence gatherer who'd gone into the loft and gathered evidence. However, he hadn't done it forensically, hence they got no evidence, they couldn't produce it. This was the last witness for the prosecution. The judge, on the Monday, ordered the CPS to bring the original warrant to the court for Tuesday. So 6 months after asking for a warrant, 7 days into a Crown Court case asking for a warrant, the judge finally orders the warrant to be produced. This is where the cover-up starts to come in. The prosecution then offer no evidence.
There was evidence. You were arrested by the police, yeah?
Oh yes, they got it on video.
And they got it on video.
Yeah.
And so there was no evidence.
No evidence.
Amazing.
So they then spin it that the prosecution is going to offer no evidence. We've just sat through 7 days of evidence and we've ripped them to pieces and proved them to be lying. So no evidence, and they're ordered to produce the warrant. Next day, we're not going to produce the warrant. We don't have to because we're offering no evidence. But wait a minute, what about the warrant? We're offering no evidence. We just heard 7 days of evidence. No evidence. Okay, so the no evidence lie is gone. The case was dropped. The case was not dropped. The judge, on seeing the evidence that we and as self-litigants had ripped the witnesses to pieces, disbanded the jury, says you can go away. We're not going to carry on anymore. The final judgment was not guilty of all charges.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, I hope that helps you along a little bit. I could explain more about the warrant, but we haven't got time because we're about to run out of battery power on the cameras. Maybe there'll be a follow-up explaining a little bit more, but I hope that's cleared up the Leicester Crown Court case. And as the Nottingham Evening Post called it,
and hailed as heroes. Thank you, Sir.
Thank you.
Debt Free TV, in association with GetOutOfDebtFree.org.